This is what pressure in Hong Kong looks like. Protesters rushing to block and sometimes to break. Police rushing in pursuit, sometimes on the attack. After 13 weeks of this, no one is immune to rage, suspicion, or anguish. Every day seems to bring more fire and more force, a dynamic we look at now in depth. Covering the protests this weekend was to witness the pro-democracy movement slogan, "Be water" in action. Fluid, tactics changing, the aims the same. According to volunteer medics, meanwhile, police are aiming higher for the head. The weekend had barely begun when the first signals came it might get ugly. This is an authorized religious gathering, but look at that crowd. When the Hong Kong government banned a protest from happening, the angry started mingling here, hoping they'd be safe to one way or another make themselves heard.
We don't know when and where the police will fire tear gas, and even we had do nothing that's harmful to the police, but they still will fight citizens. So we need to protect ourselves.
Within moments, they notice a yellow flag is up. That's a warning from the police. Flags here move from yellow to black before the tear gas and worse get fired. That agitated. So they move and grow. Thousands heading towards the seats of power in Hong Kong. This is police headquarters. Every chant you hear is an insult hurled at the cops.
And remember, none of these people are technically supposed to be out on these streets today. The protest that was planned for today was banned and then it was canceled. But what's happening here is that when the people are told no, it just seems to make them angrier.
This is a leaderless movement, no published plans. Protesters don't linger. So tracking them is hard. That's all by design. It keeps them safer, but only if these people can stay on top of it. They're the volunteer medics who feel they have to be right at the front. The split screen, those are all live shots of different pockets of protest.
Which is the biggest concern to you right now?
We don't actually know where exactly they will be because they're pretty random. They don't have a set plan. They usually adjust according to what's happening around them and where they might encounter police violence or or a police defense line. If that happens, usually a fight breaks out.
These are nurses, med students, and they've been doing this for weeks.
Is it escalating, the sort of injuries you're seeing?
Well, that is definitely escalating. Because they're now firing at people's head.
Many believe it was police who hit a female medic in the eye a few weeks ago.
I never thought that would be happen, but this is really happening right now, actually. So I can only say that it's quite disappointing, and you just wouldn't know what people will do.
They head out towards the subway into building crowds. The pace of the protest is picking up and it's shifting. See the clusters hiding something behind their umbrellas? These are the more hardcore protesters who come with Molotov cocktails and plans to fight.
You were saying that a lot of these front-line protesters, they've really written their last wills?
Yes, that's true. Because, as we said before, the police shot them at the head, right? So you never know who is going to be the first one to get killed.
And so it turns. The tear gas, rubber bullets, and blue dye to make it easier to find the protesters. Until now, violence hasn't typically happened until nightfall, but the intensity of everything is building. A few hours later, another neighborhood. The families and elderly are gone, the young and furious remain.
Do your parents know where you are?
Yes.
And are they okay with that?
Yes.
How prepared are you to keep fighting? Like at what cost?
They ask us to leave.
Changing direction and plans always.
It can be a little bit hard to figure out what the protesters are up to. See how they're all advancing in this direction? It's not because they're fleeing something, it's because they've organically decided they've been here in central Hong Kong for a little bit too long, and now they're heading towards the causeway.
No rushing or awareness that it's about to change. riot police charge, firing rubber bullets as they run. Seconds later, it's clear someone is down. From the work the medics do, it seems the protesters has a head wound and he's unconscious. The crowd across the street gets livid. Rage about the heavy hand of police fuels many of the protests. Insults fly. Gangsters, dogs, and worse. Loaded into the ambulance, but it's not over. The police are off to another neighborhood. No matter what authorities thought would happen when they banned a protest, force only seems to fuel this movement.